I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
This is Pantera-War Nerve for the big homie
Daniel. Like tag teaming on the words here. If you, dear listener, would like to have a song reaction done, there's a couple different ways of getting that done. One is that you can post it on our social media platforms. Another way is to jump on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And do you want to not do this right now?
No, go ahead.
Okay. You got some bad news.
Always getting bad news. Just mask up, do the best you can, guys. And I'm seeing this dumb motherfucker.
I know. It's unbelievable.
People are dying like in droves, but anyway, Pantera-War Nerve.
Let's get right into it, I guess.
Look, for timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America, Vin and Sori. There are multiple ways to get your song listened to. My favorite one is the community option where you, $1 to get you in at Patreon, where you get to meet all my friends who are very valuable to me. And you get to pull your points together, and that helps to determine what song that we listen to. And then what Daniel did is the filthy capitalist Sori option, in which you don't have to work with a community of people, and $125 gets you straight to the head of the line.
Unless if you've done more than 3 with us.
This brother's done 4,000 of them, so he's at 70. This is the guy we sent the money back, right? He sent us too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you send us too much money.
I caught that.
Yeah, sorry, you caught that.
You know, Vin always wants to make me look like I'm only filthy.
You're only a filthy capitalist in this family. Because Orion's not a capitalist, and he's the only one in the house right now. So
that's true.
Okay, so Pantera-War Nerve.
Really?
Let's go. Expected to come out a little faster, but okay. There we go.
Second, the pathetic media pisses on me and judges what I am in one paragraph. Look here, fuck you
The slide.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do one that on the slide.
fucking world couldn't buy me a second of trust or 1 ounce of faith in anything you're about. Fuck you all!
I needed this song. I swear to God, that guy was in. If he was here right now, I would slap the shit out of him. I would. You dumb motherfuckers who have no background at all in science or the medical field, come on Facebook and talk all this dumb shit about a virus you know nothing about, and you don't care just because of the fact that you haven't lost someone yet. You're sitting here making all these stupid, silly jokes, and 90% of them are Christians.
Oh,
I gotta tell you.
I can't even.
I don't see any of my atheist friends making any of these dumb jokes.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just got word that a dude that, you know,
He looked young.
he was 25. I used to come home from work. I'd go play basketball with the boys. I'd always have him in the car. He's my favorite guy. One of my favorite Muslims on the planet. So I get done seeing that, and then right after that, it's this dumb idiot, this silly person. Okay, but anyway, show's gotta go on, right? So, look man, I get it. Everybody doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't feel the need to listen to the CDC and these other folks because we're Americans and we don't listen to people. We believe that these weird websites on Facebook and Twitter have the real truth, and we, you know, go for it. But if you want to be that type of person, do you have to go and mock people who are concerned about COVID? I mean, people are actually dying, or do you think that that's all a conspiracy too? I mean, some of these people, man.
No, you know what they keep saying every time?
Look at this dumb motherfucker. It's so scary that COVID-19 is killing all these people. I mean, people are ending up getting shot in the head by COVID, getting stabbed to death by COVID, all sorts of stuff. Extremely dangerous virus. I'm not even gonna ask this fucking guy to post any of his shit, like to justify anything that he's saying. But I swear to God.
They keep saying, well, they have pre-existing conditions. Well, you know what? Like, lots of people have something pre-existing. Like, people have asthma, people have heart issues, people have this and that. But you don't expect to die just randomly because of that. Like, that's how people are, like, justifying it and making it seem like, well, that's not really a big deal. There is a big deal.
Well, I mean, look, man. If you had a pre-existing condition and you ended up catching HIV or AIDS, you would die a lot quicker than a person who didn't have it. I guess that means that AIDS isn't really a problem.
Right.
This dude was 25 fucking years old. It's just bananas to me, man. Like, people are so these idiots. You know, we're in Maine, so you know everybody's spread out from everybody, and the likelihood of you knowing somebody who has died from COVID is a lot lower than the rest of the. So these silly people believe that because it happened to them, and they're on these dumb websites that means that they know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And they always have these dumbass posts. Does anybody actually know anyone who's died of COVID? Yes, motherfucker. The count is around 6 or 7 now. These silly ass people, man. I swear to God. I shouldn't even talk to them. Anyway, let's switch gears. So I think
media.
I think this song is about the media blasting him because he says it in the talking point where he says, "For every fucking second the pathetic media pisses on me and judges when I am in one paragraph. Look here, bruh. Fuck you all." You know, I really like the "fuck you all" in this song. I identified very closely to it in this song. But Corey has a good one too in Surfacing. I think that's probably the best "fuck you all" of all time. It's probably Corey in Surfacing on Slipknot. This one is very, very. It's just so crazy to me how like all this shit happened back to back. I find out about Lee Ben. He's with the Ain Self Inshallah. And then 2 seconds later, I see this fucking idiot.
I know.
And then we're doing a Pantera song. So it's just one after the other. I don't know what God's trying to tell me. Maybe I need a timeout, obviously. I'll get some of the, I'm sure the folks who try to manage my toxic masculinity will have a lot of shit to say. But,
it is
don't
difficult,
fucking message
though.
me about it, though. Because you're not going to get a good response from me. I don't give a fuck.
It is really difficult because, like, we know people, and then it's like you see these people putting these posts, and I was melting down yesterday about it. I was so angry, and then I posted something in another forum, and like people just say the most ignorant things, and like it's always. Well, I don't say always. I think I'm speaking hyperbolically because I'm pretty upset about it. But it's so many Christians are like, I don't understand this attitude that they have about it. It's just mind-blowing. I thought it was really sexy that you got on the post, though, and put all the stats and stuff.
Yeah, but these people don't care about statistics or facts or doctors or anything. They've got this silly website that is not accredited at all and whatever, and that guy trumps the other guy. Or their gut. And this silly person over the other chuckle fuck, he's like, well, 80,000 people died from the flu. What about? I'm like, it was 61,000. You fucking idiot. And then he goes, well, I don't want to talk about those. All right, back to the media. So, he's talking. God help me. Seriously, you gotta get me through this thing. So he's talking about the media. And that's a very interesting line. Judges what I am by a single paragraph. Which, that's a very, very interesting...
What media is he talking about?
I just think any media. I mean, what is this, he literally mentioned CNN.
Yeah, but they talked about Pantera?
They were a massive band. I mean, I could see CNN talk because they were... Marilyn Manson was in the news all the time. I knew about Marilyn Manson before I knew about Korn. So it doesn't surprise me that they would be in the media. And you've got metal magazines too. You had Circus. Circus was the one that we used to go into these stores and there'd be a Circus magazine, and it would literally be the same interview but different pictures of Korn. So I would go there and look at the latest Circus magazine. It was literally the same interview. It was just different pictures. I was like, oh, it's the new picture. My entire wall. I wish I still had a picture of my wall. Because my wall was pretty legit. It was pretty legit. It was all Korn. It was Korn, a couple Slipknot, but it was pretty legit. So I could see, but he had that drug problem. Like, he's famous for his drug and alcohol abuse. and the deteriorating effects that it had on his skills and his talents and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But you know, in '96, I mean, I think they were at the top of their game. The Great Southern Trendkill, I think, was like, somebody said in the comment section, it was like their answer to like all the new metal and all that stuff. Not that they were against new metal, but it was just everybody was copying Korn and Deftones or whatever, and they were like coming out with just old school, just hard. So, but it is an interesting thing where you got this one person who is, or you've got. It's kind of like, because on our walking trail, there's a cemetery, and you know, it's got, you know, someone's first last name and then this dash this, you know, this to 2020 or whatever it is, and it's like, you know, the entire person's life is summed up in that little dash, you know what I mean? And so it's a crazy thing where the media will take one aspect of a person's being or a person's lived experience, and then that'll be the sum total of who they are. And you know, we all do that. Like, for example, if I read about somebody who's a child molester or something, like, I don't want to hear anything else about it. Like, that's it, you're out. Like, that's all of who you are. So I think all of us do this to some degree, but there are different degrees of severity in those things, and obviously Phil is a lot more of a complex character than just a drug-addicted rock star or whatever. But that's what sells the paper. They're not going to talk about, you know, I don't know, what he did when he was 11 and, you know, important moments in his life or whatever. You know, if people knew everything that I was done and that I got into and all that, like, you know, there would be a lot of, like, you know, woohoo, blah, 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 you know, very sexy stuff. And but then you would be able to, people are seeing a side of me that other people in other contexts have no idea about. And then you guys were seeing a whole part of me, and there was a whole life that I had and old things that I had to do that you had no idea about.
Right.
And so, like, people are so complex and they're so multi-layered that it is kind of true. That's what we do to celebrities. You just whittle down all that they are, all their complexities, and simplify it, and you whittle it down to one thing. And it's not healthy, whether it's good or it's bad. But what happens at the beginning is the media, for whatever reason, picks somebody that they like, and so in one paragraph they'll say he's the greatest thing since Gandhi or Jesus. And then the media's bored of him. They're like, this guy's no longer selling this. Yeah, it's no longer selling us magazines, or we're no longer getting the hits on the media that we need. So now we're going to twist it, and now we're going to make him the worst thing possible, and now that's going to generate. So you hail people and nail people based on, especially with the media, based on what you're trying to accomplish with the ratings. You know, we saw it in the Jordan documentary where people are like, holy shit, he lost $1 million in gambling. It's like, the guy's got $1.5 billion. Literally losing $1 million for him, I don't even know what that math is. It's like losing $4.78 for you.
The guy was like, it's like $10.
It's like 10, yeah, like, it's unbelievable. Like, you know, but they had to find, and it's like, this is the worst thing you could find on the guy. Like, there's a lot worse things.
Was that a big deal at the time?
Oh,
I mean,
my
like, I know it was a
gosh.
big deal for Christians, but like, everybody else, they care?
Well, here's the thing about gambling, because...
because it can influence the game.
Correct. So, you know, Shoeless Joe Jackson, all those guys get caught in, you know, number crunching and all this stuff. So, I mean, it could, but when you looked at Jordan, it's like... do you think that his gambling had anything to do with the way that he played? I mean, the guy is just a ridiculous competitor. Like, what are you talking about? So, but yeah.
Some people, I think it would be hard to tell if they were intentionally losing.
Yeah.
With him, I think it would be obvious.
And obviously, Phil is a very complex character, and, you know, we talked in the Fireside, he did the Sieg Heil thing, and there's the whole, you know, white supremacist stuff and the whatever, and then there's the drug stuff, and then, like, but people are more, and I'm not saying this because my love affair with Pantera has to do with Don. It's not really about Phil. As a matter of fact, it was listening to Pantera on this channel that gave me respect for Phil as a lyricist, because I just assumed, because I fell victim to it. I was like, oh man, that's a drug using.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I was like, I had no respect for Phil.
Oh wow.
And then the other thing was, the only thing that I knew from him was the walk song. Wait, are you talking to me? It's not very complex lyrically.
Yeah.
And then I think we heard Floods. And I was like, we did Floods, and I was like, whoa, this dude can write his ass off, and then he could sing and all this. So like, I had him like pegged into one little thing myself, you know. So like, I'm not a giant Phil Anselmo fan. I respect the hell out of him, but it is unfair to a person's entire life and all the complexities and why they are the way they are. And you have one little paragraph in the thing, and now you've got millions of people that just go along with it, and you know, it's unbelievable.
I think that, yes, I see it in what you're saying, but I also remember we were watching that show.
Yeah.
And like those types of people that are in that show, like you always just see them as like really bad people, and then he is a really bad person.
He's a 100%. He's a terrible person.
But you love his character and who he is, and like. You let some stuff slide, and you kind of make excuses for him.
Yeah.
You see other aspects of his person, and I wonder, like that show actually was one of the reasons why it was like, wow, like I wonder like how many people we would judge because we just saw a little span of them, or like, you know, I used my thing was like when I would see somebody like that was going to jail, or somebody that was like. I'm going to be in there for a really long time. I would always picture like, oh my gosh, like they were like a little boy once. Like their mom picked them up and they played with toys, and they, you know, they wanted the Cheerios or whatever. You know what I mean? And then now they're this person but they're still that little boy, but at the same time now they've done so much stuff. And so like kind of like melding those two together. And so that show was also like another thing where it was like, whoa, because I actually didn't think that there was like anything good about those types of people. Which doesn't make any sense, but yeah, it was just kind of like what was in my head. So it was an interesting little
good Christian education, good Christian upbringing.
Yep. So yeah, I can see how people would do that, you know, for these people and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's one of the great things about art, is that art helps you to see, you know, things from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. If you're outside the metal community and you're like, oh, these kids are always angry all the time. It's like, I get it. You would just judge these people just being angry people. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at the lyrics and you see, oh, well, this kid was molested when he was 6, and this one was abandoned when he was 11, and this guy was...
Yeah.
Then it changes you, and you see... I think that's why art's so important, because it makes you see the collective humanity in everybody, and you can kind of find little points of agreement. And I just think that there's also people who, like... I was watching Joe Rogan and with Sager and Crystal Ball. Mm-hmm. And
is that the one people were telling you on the live stream what to do?
No, there's another one.
Oh.
If I did a breakdown of the capitalist guy, it would take me 5 hours, because I'm like in the middle of reading Marx right now. So I'm like, well, what about this and that? And the guy doesn't address it at all. And Rogan...
doesn't know enough about it.
He doesn't, he's high up half the time. So, but no, it's Crystal and Sager, and Crystal doesn't look at Twitter, and Sager spends hours on Twitter.
Okay.
You know, and of course he's a political pundit, so he's getting a lot of hate mail, and he's getting a lot, and he's responding to these people, and yada yada yada. And Crystal doesn't look at it at all, and Rogan's like, "Get off of it, man! Get off of it!" And you know, I think there's some people. I think there's some people that don't get affected by it emotionally and kind of enjoy it.
You're kind of like that. It depends on the topic.
Yeah,
it's pretty riled up.
If I am the topic, it's funny to me. Mm-hmm. But if it's an issue like you know, where people are dying and you know, people who've been privileged not to see people dying and not to see the fallout of death, or the people who've been privileged not to see the fallout of war and what happens to people. When they start talking all their dumb shit, I get upset. But if it's about me, like, and I know, I'm aware of the fact that that's a character flaw. Enjoying that stuff, and I'm aware that it's a character. And I hear God's like, come on, man, let's just do something productive. Let's do something else. I'm like, oh, let me just.
That's so funny. I would not think of that as a character flaw.
Well, I think, obviously as Christians, it's like a lot of it's about your motive, So if somebody's saying something weird about you or reckless, it's just like, it's just kind of, I know what my motive is. It's just to jab at them because I know that it's way more important to them than it is to me.
Oh.
Because there's just nothing anybody can say about me as a person that's going to affect me. I don't care. But I know that, making that known in different ways is extremely infuriating to certain people. So I know that that's not a good motive. So. So I don't get to do it for long. The Lord like, all right, you literally have to do something else there. Okay, fine.
It kind of, when you're talking about it, kind of reminds me, like, I can see sometimes Johan just, like, he just mails it in and he just, like, has it in his head that he's going to annoy the girls.
Johan is exactly like me with that. It
doesn't matter what they say or what
him. He doesn't care.
He thinks it's funny and he's just going to go more.
But there's other people. I was watching another YouTuber that was, like, coming up around us, with us. And, she keeps having to take these breaks, man.
I know.
Because
Is she still there?
Yeah, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's for some people, it's really, 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 really hard, And it obviously affected him. It says, he says nothing. He said something here, right?
I'm usually good.
He says, nothing is worth the sleep that I've lost. Apology is unacceptable now. A blistered revenge awaits in me. This is stuff used to keep him up at night, what people were saying about him.
That's sad.
But I think
it's really not good if people have that much.
No, but I think now with social media, I think everybody has pretty much developed a thick, some form of a thick skin. Or a thicker skin.
Thicker.
Maybe you don't agree. Looks like you don't agree.
I don't, because you still see people melting down about it and being really upset about it and stuff. And, like, I think that because, like, the social media age is so... It's so crazy. Sometimes I can't believe how horrible people are to each other. So I had met this girl and she had lost her baby. Like, it was like one of those crib deaths where there's no reason. It's just the baby died. And so, I talked to her here and again and stuff. And she posted this thing where she was like, I wish that you could sober somebody up by just loving them. And I was like, I'm with you. I've thought that a billion times myself. And 2 days later, she posts about this girl, and she was like, good riddance to you. I thought the girl died. The girl didn't die because she was in the comment section. She's like, you're an effing crackhead, blah, blah, blah. The girl's like, I don't use crack. And, like, they were going back and forth in the thing, and she was telling her she's a waste. She's just like, when I don't like it when people will, like, compare human beings to, like, garbage or, like, shit. Like, I think that's so awful.
Yeah.
And so she's saying all these things to the girl, and the girl basically said, I have no time. I have to go take care of my kids.
Whoa.
And I was like, I was just sitting there like...
Wow.
What? The whole thing from the start was mean. Like, it was mean for her to just blast this girl all over social media, whether she did or she didn't use crack. And then for that girl to take it to that level, I just can't believe how mean people are to each other. Like, I feel like maybe people are always like this. Maybe social media doesn't bring it out of people. But I feel like, would you really say that to her face? Like, how could you know that information about her and then say something like that?
That's true. There's a lot of things that people say on social media that they wouldn't say to the other person. And it's not because of intimidation or whatever. It's just because
you see the person.
When you're in the same room with the person, it's you're wrong. These people know that you're wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just humanity. For a lot of people, I
didn't even end up saying anything because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I should say, like, when I first saw the post, I was gonna post a picture. I screenshot her post from 2 days before, and I was gonna say, like, how can you post that and then post this?
Yeah.
And then when I scrolled down and saw the comment section, the whole thing got out of control.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. The ugliness of humanity and no disrespect to anybody who this affects them the other way, because most people it affects them the other way. But the ugliness of humanity confirms Christianity to me.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Because it just...
I agree.
Sometimes, like, you know, there's a famous document called The Banality of Evil, and it's talking about some of the Nuremberg trials and some of the things that these guys are saying, you know, to justify the Holocaust or justify their role in the Holocaust. You know, that's where the famous, you know, I was following orders stuff came from. And it's just like, sometimes it's the evil of human beings is just completely inexplicable. And it sometimes it just makes no sense sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I saw this cartoon, and I honestly can't remember if it was a meme, if it was something I scrolled across, or if it was a cartoon that came on in between what Orion and I were. I really don't know. I just know that there was like this cartoon character, and he was like, "Ugh!" And he said, "I'm just doing what comes natural to me." And like there was all this havoc he was wreaking all around himself. And I was like, yeah, it's in nature. Yep. It's natural to him.
Can't wait till Orion starts really talking.
Did you see this thing? I'm sorry. There's this car pulls up, like there's
Speaking of human nature.
Yeah, so there's this really nice car, and there's this guy, and he's like sweeping up trash out on the sidewalk, and this person in this nice car is just throwing all of his trash right out the window at this guy. And the guy just keeps sweeping it up, and then this big buff guy comes out, grabs the broom and the dustpan, sweeps it up, and then throws it inside the guy's car. And then the guy tries to open up the door to get out, and he like kicks the car door shut.
He didn't want no smoke with that guy with all them steroids.
I don't even know why he was opening the door in the first place.
What were you gonna do? Man, get back in your car, Julio. Back in your car.
It goes like this. Like, I don't know what he said, but it was so funny. Anyway, but no, I agree with you. Like, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, people, you can't convince me that people are downright good to their core. Like, there's just too much.
Yeah.
There's just way too much. And the more, I literally don't even know how anybody can argue anything other than that. When you just look at the news for one 24-hour cycle.
Or the Mirror.
Yes. Or the Mirror. The news is easier to see because it's someone else.
That's right.
But
and that should shut it down right there.
Yeah.
Shut it down. Was the chef say? Chef Ramsay, shut it down. But you know, this is probably one of the best songs I've heard about. Like, if you're, I could have used this song in high school. I could have really used this song in high school. I would have been singing this shit on throughout the halls of Truman High.
Which line would you have been doing the most through the halls?
Just fuck you all. First of all,
Hate.
truly, fuck the word for all it's worth. Every inch of planet Earth. Fuck myself. Don't leave me out. Don't get involved. Don't corner me. Inside ulcer. Unjust bastards. I mean, like,
I felt bad for him when he said he had an ulcer.
The way that he, like, the cadence of and the way that he did it, I was like, man, this guy, man. That's the thing people don't understand. It's not just like, especially with rap. You get this a lot with rap. Rappers, I think, are much better at cadence than metal guys are. But this song, it's not just putting the words together, making them fit into the rhyme scheme or the rhythm 4/4, whatever. But it's also like a certain type of cadence. Like, you put back where's the song? Put it back. Yeah, we have to put it back. We have to put it back. War Nerve brought to you by Daniel. All right, so where did it go? Where did it go? So here it is. You know, it's like that is like next level talent, man. Like, that's the dude. He's a bad man. I think, you know, I said in the Fireside, you know, or I think it's Slayer, Anthrax, Metallica, and I forgot who the other band was. But I think they said Pantera didn't make the Big Four. Pantera wasn't in the Big Four. I was like, are you sure? I'm like, pretty sure Pantera's in the Big Four.
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't know enough about metal history to
Top 4 Metal.
No, it's Big Four. They're called the Big Four. So it's Anthrax, Metallica. No, it's Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer. So Pantera got left out. And I said in the Fireside. I said in the Fireside. I'm sorry, but there's nobody. There's no band. There's no way it's going to convince me that any of those bands were heavier than Pantera. I'm sorry. I know it's blasphemous because they didn't make the top 4, and I'm new to metal, blah blah blah. Because I was listening to new metal and the Korn is completely different. I know a whole bunch of you silly people are gonna say you don't know anything. I hear you. I'm not. Look, Dave Mustaine, like technically better guitarist than Dime, sure, but for metal and for what I'm about, they're the heaviest band of all time. That's what I feel. And you know, if you feel different, start a channel, and then you can tell everybody that Vincent's a moron and doesn't know anything about metal. But I personally believe they're the heaviest band of all time ever, and I don't think there's a close second. I don't think anybody's close to these guys. Heaviness, and like every single song. Like when, of course, when they want to get ballady or whatever, they can get ballady or whatever, But every single song from these dudes, when they want to get heavy,
in my top 4.
When they want to get heavy, like forget it.
Big 4.
Forget it. When Pantera wants to get heavy, there's nobody who can fuck with those guys. It's a 10 for me because the song came at a very, very important time in my life.
That was a 9.4 for me.
Rest in peace to the big homie Lee Ben. Inshallah, buddy, I'll be crossing you up in the next world, bro, and I'll take you to get a Gatorade like we used to. So, there you go. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.